The Ocean Reef Neptune III won't fog and it's almost impossible to flood. But if you got bum rushed by a bull shark and found yourself without a mask at 90 feet deep, would you be ready? Knowing how to handle failures can save your life. From bailout and recovery to air shares, I'm going to show you exactly how we train for the worst case scenarios. Let's dive in. Before we get started, I want to say up front, you should get your full face mask certification from a licensed instructor. Ocean Reef even has its own course that covers the Neptune III in detail, and it is excellent. What I'm going to show you today isn't a replacement for training. It's how me and Gunner drill the skills that we need to stay sharp. The first and most important thing is the bailout procedure. It's more involved than a traditional mask for sure, but I can honestly say that it's not a big deal at all. But you're definitely going to want to train and get that muscle memory going. You'll want to add defog before each dive to your backup mask and train on locating that thing because it's probably going to be in a pocket or clipped to your BCD. One of the best features of the Neptune III is the quick release system. Get used to using it and locating it as well. Now the recovery. If I ever have to bail out to a traditional mask and reg, I'm going to call the dive so I won't actually need to do a recovery back to a full face mask. But I recommend practicing it anyway, and we do. Focus on resetting your straps after you take it off so that it's easier to get back on. Once you have it back on, you'll notice that you don't even have to hit the purge button. Because of the positive pressure and you exhaling, the mask will force the water out. It's really cool, guys. Which brings me to flooding. Even though it's almost impossible to flood this mask in normal use, you should still practice it. We always train worst case scenarios. The way I do this is by having the mask on, I'll take 2 fingers, stick it in, and literally try to pull it away from my face. Try it, you're gonna see how hard it is. It's almost impossible to do. But get comfortable with the feeling so it doesn't catch you off guard. Next, train for the worst case. What happens if your quick disconnect becomes unplugged while you're in the middle of a dive? You need to know exactly where the male end is, and you should practice reconnecting it until it's like second nature. It's not something that you're gonna wanna fumble on at depth. But again, I don't think it's a very likely scenario. A quick note about training these drills and trying to simulate real world dive scenarios. It's a lot easier to do any of these recovery or out of air situations when you're on a full breath and your lungs are full of air. But consider how your mindset is gonna be a little bit different if something were to go wrong at the end of your exhale and you didn't have lungs full of air, right? I always try to get some training reps in and replicate that by doing the swaps or doing the out of air recoveries on an exhale. It can be pretty humbling. Air shares are another skill that you'll want to practice and practice a bunch. Depending on the situation in your dive buddy, you've got a couple of different options. You can do a traditional air share on an octo, or you can share using the quick disconnect system like I've shown in previous videos and I'll show in this one. Either way, run the drill so both you and your buddy know exactly what to expect. If you're the one receiving the octo from your buddy and he isn't equipped with quick disconnects, you're gonna have to bail out of your Neptune III to even receive his octo. Donating your octo to your dive buddy that isn't wearing a full face will be standard air share procedures. Sharing air with QDs will require the donator to remove their octo from their quick disconnect hose and then simply connect it to their Neptune III. This is different and should be practiced a lot to decide if you will use this or not. If you can't pull it off consistently, stick to standard procedures with the octo. Spend a little bit of time getting used to your surface air valve. Know which direction is open and which direction is closed. Just traditional righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Try leaving it open on a descent one time as you're going down in the water just to see what'll happen. It will not flood your mask, but it will waste your air.
This is what happens when you open your surface air valve underwater.
And like I've mentioned before, do not over tighten these things or you're not gonna be able to get them open without pliers. Finally, think about the accessories that you use. If you're running comms, get familiar with the system and how the buttons work and their layout.
Generations below. The hood is on.
I've got a whole video breaking down the GSM Mercury comms that I've linked above. With lights like the Orca torch, know where the switches are. Know the modes and exactly how to get to them without looking.
But I'm going to show you that I like to know how my accessories work. Here's my Orca torch on and off, red light and white.
you're running a camera mounted to your mask, know exactly where your shutter button is. Although I leave mine on the whole time anyway. Pro tip here, have your buddy position himself behind you so that he can see the back of your GoPro or whatever action camera you're using. That way he can frame your shot for you and line it up just right out of your mask. The Neptune 3 is incredibly easy and comfortable to dive, but like anything in scuba, it's the training that makes the difference. Practice these skills in the pool or on shallow dives until they feel automatic. That way when you're in open water, the mask is never the thing on your mind. The dive is. Hit subscribe and drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about it. If you want my suggestion for what to watch next, click this one right here. If you're new here, we hide real treasure underwater. We call it the hunt. If you find one of our coins, you win high-end dive gear from brands that we trust. The hunt is on.